Sergeant George Jordan was born into slavery in rural Williamson County and lived here until just after the Civil War. He enlisted at Fort Negley in Nashville and was soon sent out west to fight in the Indian Wars. He enlisted as a Buffalo Soldier, serving on the western frontier, protecting settlers and fighting off attacks by Native Americans who had lived on the land for generations. Historians are unsure about the origins of the term Buffalo Soldier. Some suggest it was given to African American soldiers by the Native Americans because of their hair, and others speculate that the term was used to describe their bravery. In either case, they did in fact serve bravely. At the age of 19, Jordan enlisted in the 38th Infantry Regiment of the United States Army. He was a good soldier and proved to have the skills and drive for advancement in the military. He learned to read and write as an enlisted man and worked to better his position within the ranks. A little more than 3 years after enlistment, the Army transferred Jordan to the 9th Cavalry's K Troop, which became his home for more than 25 years. This group of men was renowned for its performance against the Apache warriors and Sioux, thanks to the leadership of the enterprising and ambitious Jordan. Jordan served as a sergeant in Company K by the time they encountered the Apache warriors at the Battle of Tularosa on May 14, 1880. His small group of soldiers held off more than 100 men. A little over a year later, they bravely fought off another attack at Carrizo Canyon on August 12, 1881. Jordan received the highest honor bestowed on an individual serving in the U.S. Armed Services for the valor he demonstrated during these battles. He is the only Williamson County resident to receive this Congressional Medal of Honor and the first African American in Tennessee to receive this award. Jordan's Medal of Honor citation reads, "While commanding a detachment of 25 men at Fort Tularosa, New Mexico, in 1880, Jordan held back a force of more than 100 Indians. Then, at Carrizo Canyon, New Mexico, 3 months later, Jordan and 19 of his men again held their ground while being attacked by a group of Apaches." Jordan's health declined dramatically in the autumn of 1904, but Jordan was denied admission to the Fort Robinson Hospital. Told to try the soldiers' home in Washington, D.C., he was too ill to ever make the trip. He died on October 19, 1904, with the post chaplain officially complaining that Jordan died for the want of proper attention. Jordan was buried in the Fort Robinson Cemetery, his funeral conducted with full honors and attended by most of the post personnel. Jordan died in 1904. He was buried in the Fort McPherson National Cemetery in Maxwell, Nebraska. George Jordan, one of the most overlooked Medal of Honor recipients, was able to break the barrier of race, ensuring it would no longer hinder medical care for anyone who served in the military. Jordan died, never having been allowed to vote himself. Only one other school in all of Williamson County, Tennessee, is named after an African American, Johnson Elementary School. I had the privilege to speak with the principal of Johnson Elementary School and receive her thoughts upon the naming of the new elementary school.
When I found out about the naming of the elementary school in Brentwood that's going to be named after an African American, I was ecstatic because that makes just 2 schools in Williamson County that have been named after African Americans. So, I mean, that's important. It's important to African American children to know that all races and cultures are important.
George Jordan, considered one of the most overlooked Medal of Honor recipients, through death was able to break the barrier of race, ensuring it would no longer hinder medical care for anyone who served in the military. He was a brave American whose modesty, loyalty, and determination make us proud to honor him by naming Jordan Elementary School after him. Late in 2018, after Jordan Elementary had been built and students were in their first year at the new school, Sergeant Jordan's Congressional Medal of Honor was found after a 20-year search by documentarian and historian Ed Hooper. Army historians were sure it was buried with him. Others, however, never gave up on the search for the only known remaining possession of Jordan. The book, Deeds of Valor, is the only first-person account of one of the events earning him the Medal of Honor, where he described the action. The book was published in 1905 and was at the printer when he passed away a year earlier. Sergeant Jordan never saw it in print. The medal, thanks to the relentless pursuits of Mr. Hooper, is now in its permanent home in the Smithsonian Collection at the National Museum of African American History and Culture. The legacy of Sergeant George Jordan lives not only through the school that bears his name, but also with his Medal of Honor. forever on display for the world to see at the Smithsonian. Jordan Elementary School in Brentwood, Tennessee, opened its doors to approximately 400 students the fall of 2018. Their mascot, the Jets, features an airplane insignia with red and blue coloring. It has been a great honor to have been involved in the naming of this beautiful institution for education, and I'm glad that Sergeant George Jordan has received the recognition he deserves.